Captain Tom Reed stood straight and tall as the door to the meeting room slid open. This was humanity's big moment, their first official meeting with an alien species. The Vex had made contact 6 months ago, and after many video calls, they were finally meeting face to face. "Welcome aboard the Pioneer *," Tom said with a smile. He tried not to stare at the blue-skinned aliens. They stood about 7 feet tall, with 4 arms and large eyes that blinked sideways. The lead alien bowed slightly. "We are pleased to meet in person, Captain Reed. I am Ambassador Locke." Tom led them to the large table in the center of the room. His science officer, Dr. Bell, and communications expert, Officer Ryan, joined them. The meeting began well. The Vex were friendly and seemed eager to share knowledge about space travel and the many worlds they had visited. "We have mapped this entire sector," Ambassador Locke said, pointing to a star map. "Many beautiful worlds can be found here." Tom leaned forward, pointing to a star system near the edge of the map. "What about this one? Our scans show a planet with Earth-like readings. We'd like to explore it." The room went quiet. The 3 Vex looked at each other, their blue skin turning slightly pale. "That system," Ambassador Locke's voice became low and serious. "It contains a world we call Terminus. We do not go there anymore." "Why not?" Tom asked. "We tried to settle there 200 years ago. We lost thousands of our people." Locke's large eyes blinked rapidly. "It is a death world. We abandoned it and never returned." Dr. Bell leaned forward. "What makes it so dangerous?" The Vex ambassador touched a device on his wrist, and a hologram appeared above the table. It showed a planet with swirling storm clouds and vast oceans. The weather changes without warning. Storms appear in minutes that can tear apart buildings. The native animals are incredibly aggressive. The plants release toxins that our bodies cannot fight. Even the smallest life forms, what you call microbes, attacked our people from the inside. Tom tried not to smile. This sounded like a normal Tuesday in many parts of Earth. "I see," he said politely. "Please, tell us more about these dangers." For the next hour, the Vex described a planet that sounded deadly to them. But with each description, the humans exchanged knowing glances. Giant predators. Earth had those. Poisonous plants. Earth had thousands. Deadly bacteria. Humans had been fighting those since birth. "Perhaps we could show you some images from our world," Tom suggested. He played videos of Earth's hurricanes, earthquakes, volcanoes, and wildlife. Lions hunting zebras, great white sharks leaping from the water, even simple footage of a thunderstorm. The Vex watched in growing horror. "You live with such dangers?" Ambassador Locke asked, his voice shaking. "We evolved with them," Dr. Bell explained. "Our bodies and minds developed to survive these challenges." "And you want to go to Terminus?" another Vex asked. "After what we've told you." Tom nodded. "What you see as deadly, we see as interesting. An opportunity to test ourselves and learn." The meeting ended with the Vex looking confused and concerned. As they left the room, Tom heard one whisper to another, "They are either very brave or very foolish." Back in his quarters, Tom looked at the star map again, his eyes fixed on Terminus. Where the Vex saw only death, he saw possibility. Humans had always pushed into dangerous frontiers, the deepest oceans, the highest mountains, the harshest deserts. Now they would do the same among the stars. "Prepare a message to Earth Command," he told his computer. "Subject: Expedition Proposal, Planet Terminus." The Vex had fled the deadliest world they had ever found. Humans couldn't wait to explore it. 6 months had passed since the meeting with the Vex. Captain Tom Reed stood in the large briefing room at Earth Command, watching as the team for the Terminus mission filed in. His proposal had been approved faster than he expected. Humans were too curious to ignore such a challenge. "Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seats," Tom said. 5 people sat down at the table, each chosen for their unique skills and experience. Dr. Lisa Mason sat at the head of the table. At 45, she was the oldest of the group and would lead the expedition. Her calm face showed no fear, only interest. Lisa had survived 3 years stranded on a hostile moon after her research ship crashed. If anyone knew how to stay alive in a deadly place, it was her. "Let's meet the team," Tom said, pointing to a tall man with bright eyes. "This is Jack Wilson, our biologist. He studied the most dangerous creatures on Earth." Jack nodded. "I've been bitten, stung, and poisoned more times than I can count. Still here." Next was a woman with strong arms and short black hair, Maria Garcia, our geologist. She specializes in unstable terrain and has worked in active volcano zones. Maria smiled. "Earth tries to kill us every day. I don't think Terminus will be much different." Mike Collins, our engineer, Tom continued, pointing to a man with clever hands that never seemed to stop moving. "He can build or fix anything with whatever materials are available." "Looking forward to the challenge," Mike said simply. And finally, Kate Foster, security expert. A woman with watchful eyes nodded. Former military, trained in survival and defense against both animals and people. Kate crossed her arms. "I don't plan to kill anything unless absolutely necessary. Understanding a threat is better than destroying it." Tom turned on the screen behind him. It showed the Vex records about Terminus, pages of warnings and disaster reports. "The Vex think we're crazy," Lisa said, looking through the files. "Their records make Terminus sound like a nightmare." Jack laughed. "These aliens think rain is dangerous. It says here they lost a research team to a sudden water event from the sky. They evolved on a very stable, peaceful world," Tom explained. "Their bodies and minds never had to adapt to sudden changes or threats. Their technology protected them from everything, until they found Terminus." Maria studied the planet's images: strong gravity, active weather systems, diverse ecosystems. Sounds like Earth, just a bit more extreme. For the next 3 hours, they reviewed the Vex data. With each new deadly feature, the team grew more confident rather than less. Humans had evolved on a dangerous world. They expected challenges and were built to overcome them. "The Vex want to observe our progress," Tom said as the meeting ended. "They've offered rescue services if needed, but refused to land on the planet again." "We won't need rescue," Lisa said firmly. 2 weeks later, the team boarded the ship that would take them to Terminus. A small group had gathered to see them off, including Captain Reed and a Vex observer. "I still do not understand why you wish to go to this place," the Vex said to Lisa. "There is nothing there worth the risk." Lisa smiled. "The risk is what makes it worth going. Humans need challenges to grow stronger." The Vex tilted his head. "Strange. We avoid challenges to stay safe." "And that's the difference between our species," Lisa replied. "You run from the deadliest worlds. We run toward them." As their ship lifted off, Lisa looked at her team. None showed fear, only excitement. Terminus was waiting with all its dangers and secrets. Humanity's greatest adventure was about to begin. The landing ship shook as it cut through Terminus's thick atmosphere. Inside, the 5 team members checked their equipment one last time. After 3 weeks of space travel, they were finally about to set foot on the planet that had defeated the Vex. "Touchdown in 1 minute," Mike called from the pilot's seat. "Weather looks calm for now." Lisa looked at the screens showing the landing area. It was a flat plain with patches of blue-green plants. Large purple clouds hung in the distance, but weren't moving toward them. "Remember," she told the team, "gravity here is 1.3 times Earth's. Take it easy until your bodies adjust." The ship landed with a soft thud. For a moment, everyone was quiet, taking in the fact that they were now on Terminus, the world the Vex called a death trap. "Let's see what all the fuss is about," Jack said with a smile. They put on their light protective suits and breathing masks. The air on Terminus contained oxygen, but also some toxic gases in small amounts. The suits would filter these out while their bodies adjusted. When the door opened, They felt the planet's pull immediately. Everything felt heavier. Lisa took the first step onto the alien soil. It crunched under her boot like frozen snow. "First humans on Terminus," she said, looking around at the strange landscape. "Not bad so far." The sky was a deep turquoise color. 2 small moons were visible even in daylight. The air smelled sweet and metallic through their filters. "Let's set up base camp," Lisa ordered. "We need the shelters up before dark." They worked steadily, fighting against the stronger gravity. The shelters were designed to withstand extreme weather, one of the main dangers the Vex had reported. By evening, their small camp was complete, 3 dome-shaped buildings connected by short tunnels. "Atmospheric readings are better than expected," Jack reported as they ate dinner in the main dome. "The toxin levels are similar to some industrial areas back on Earth. The ground is stable here," Maria added, "but there are signs of frequent seismic activity to the north." That night, they took turns keeping watch. Kate had the 3rd shift when she noticed dark clouds gathering with incredible speed. "Everyone up," she called over the comm system. "Storm coming." They barely had time to secure loose equipment before the storm hit. Lightning lit up the sky in brilliant purple flashes. The wind howled, pushing against their shelters with frightening force. Rain fell so hard it sounded like bullets hitting the dome roofs. "Now I see why the Vex had trouble," Mike shouted over the noise. Their communication equipment sparked and went dead as a lightning bolt struck nearby. The storm lasted 20 minutes and then stopped as suddenly as it had started. The sky cleared to reveal a beautiful starscape. "Damage report," Lisa asked as they emerged from the shelters. "The weather sensors are fried," Mike said, "and one of the storage units was knocked over." They worked quickly to fix what they could. As dawn approached on their first full day, Jack noticed movement at the edge of their sensors range. "We've got company," he warned. 6 creatures emerged from the tall blue-green plants. They walked on 6 legs with bodies covered in natural armor plates. Each was about the size of a large dog, with 3 eyes set in triangular patterns on their heads. "The Vex called these Razorbacks," Jack said. "They're supposed to be extremely dangerous." The creatures moved closer, making clicking sounds with parts of their armor. "They're hunting in a pack," Kate observed, "just like wolves." The Razorbacks suddenly charged the camp. Kate fired sound blasts from her deterrent weapon. The high-pitched noise confused the creatures, making them stop and shake their heads. "They're not retreating," Lisa noticed. "They're afraid of something else, something behind them." A deep rumble shook the ground. The Razorbacks scattered as a much larger creature burst from the plants. It stood as tall as their shelters on 8 massive legs. "Inside, now," Lisa ordered. They barely made it to safety before the huge predator sniffed around their camp. After a few tense minutes, it lost interest and moved away. The Vex weren't exaggerating about the wildlife, Maria said, her voice steadied despite the close call. Lisa watched the creature disappear into the distance. No, but they didn't understand it either. Those Razorbacks weren't attacking us. They were fleeing. On a world like this, understanding the ecosystem is key to survival. Jack nodded. The Vex treated everything as a separate threat. They never saw the patterns. "Their mistake," Lisa said, "but our advantage. We've lived with predators and prey our whole lives. This is just a new playing field with the same old rules." As the alien sun rose fully, casting a golden light over the landscape, the humans prepared for their first day of exploration on Terminus, the planet that had defeated an advanced alien civilization, but might just meet its match in humanity. 1 month had passed since the human team landed on Terminus. The base camp had grown from 3 domes to 7, now protected by a ring of sensors that could detect approaching creatures and weather changes. Lisa stood on a small hill near the camp, watching the twin moons rise in the evening sky. Despite the stronger gravity that still made her muscles ache at the end of each day, she felt strangely at home on this deadly world. "Progress report," she asked as she entered the main dome, where the rest of the team was gathered for dinner. "The map is coming along nicely," Maria said, pointing to a 3D display showing the area around their camp. "We've identified 3 major predator territories and 4 safe pathways between them." Jack nodded as he stirred something that smelled like spicy soup, "and I've confirmed 7 plant species that are safe to eat after proper treatment. The blue root vegetables actually taste pretty good. Water purification system is working perfectly," Mike added. "The river to the east has high mineral content, but nothing our filters can't handle." Kate looked up from cleaning her gear. "Security perimeter hasn't been breached in 2 weeks. The sonic barriers are keeping the larger predators away, and the smaller ones have learned to avoid us." Lisa smiled. Not bad for a planet that was supposed to kill us immediately. They had faced many challenges. 2 severe storms had hit the camp. A pack of razorbacks had tried to dig under one of the domes. Strange flying creatures had attacked Mike during a scouting mission. Yet each time, the humans had observed, adapted, and overcome. The key was watching how the native life responds to threats, Jack explained as they ate. "Even the plants here have defense systems." Maria held up a rock with colorful crystal formations, "and I've discovered why the Vex were so interested in this place before they gave up. These mineral formations are incredibly rare and valuable. They could revolutionize energy storage." "So there was something worth the risk after all," Lisa said. As they finished eating, the lights flickered. Outside, the sky lit up with waves of green and purple light, an aurora unlike anything they had seen on Earth. "It's beautiful," Kate whispered as they stepped outside to watch. "And dangerous," Mike added, checking his instruments. "It's generating electromagnetic pulses that would fry any sensitive electronics not properly shielded." Like Vex technology, Lisa realized. Their ships and suits were much more advanced than ours, but also more vulnerable to this kind of natural phenomenon. "We prepared for this because we have similar events on Earth," Jack said. "The Vex would have had no equivalent experience." A soft beeping from their communication system interrupted them. "Incoming transmission," Mike announced. "It's from orbit." On the screen appeared the face of a Vex observer, his large eyes widening at the sight of the humans standing casually under the aurora. "You are still alive," the Vex said, sounding both surprised and impressed. "We detected the electromagnetic storm and feared the worst." "We're doing fine," Lisa replied. "Your records have been helpful, but we found that many of the dangers can be managed with the right approach." Managed. The Vex seemed confused. "We lost an entire research team to such a storm." "Different evolutionary history," Jack explained. "Humans have always needed to adapt quickly to changing conditions. It's in our nature." The Vex was quiet for a moment, then said, "We will continue to observe, if you permit it. Your methods are educational for us." After the transmission ended, the team returned to watching the aurora. A slight tremor shook the ground. Another common occurrence on Terminus. "They're watching us survive what they couldn't," Maria said. "Must be quite a shock for them." Lisa looked up at the beautiful, deadly sky. "The Vex saw this world as something to escape from. We see it as something to understand." "That's the human way," Kate added. "We don't just survive dangerous places. We make them our home." As the aurora faded and darkness fell over the camp, the humans of Terminus settled in for another night on the deadliest world in known space, a world that was, day by day, becoming a little less deadly through human understanding, adaptation, and persistence. "The toxic rain season is coming," Jack announced during the morning briefing. "According to the patterns we've observed, we have about 3 days before it starts." The team had been on Terminus for 3 months now. They had survived storms, predator attacks, and strange illnesses that their bodies had quickly fought off. But the toxic rain season would be their biggest challenge yet. "We need better shelter," Lisa decided. "The domes won't hold up against continuous acid rain for weeks." Maria pulled up a map on the screen. "I've been studying these cave systems to the west. They could provide natural shelter, and my readings show they're quite extensive. Any signs they might be home to local wildlife? Kate asked, always thinking about security. Nothing significant on the scans, Maria replied. And the entrance is high enough to avoid flooding. The next day, the team packed essential equipment and headed for the caves. The journey took 6 hours through difficult terrain. When they reached the entrance, they found a wide opening in the side of a cliff. The Vex records don't mention these caves at all, Jack noted as they set up lights to explore inside. They probably never got this far, Kate said. Their base was on the other side of the continent. The cave entrance led to a series of large chambers with smooth walls. As they moved deeper, Lisa noticed something strange. These walls don't look natural, she said, running her hand over the smooth surface. They're too even. Mike examined the wall with a scanner. You're right. These were carved by tools, not nature. The Vex? Jack asked. No, the design is different, Mike replied, and much older. They continued deeper into the cave system, their excitement growing. In the third large chamber, they found their answer. Look, Maria gasped, pointing her light at the far wall. There, carved into the stone, were symbols unlike anything they had seen before, and below the symbols sat objects that looked like control panels. This is artificial, Lisa whispered. Someone built this place. As they explored further, they found more chambers with strange technology embedded in the walls. Most of it was dormant, covered in dust. Wait, I recognize this, Mike said suddenly, examining a panel that still had a faint glow. This is similar to a Vex design, but more primitive. In one chamber, they found what looked like living quarters, abandoned long ago. And in another, they discovered records, strange crystal devices that projected images when touched. I think this was a Vex research station, Lisa said as they gathered the devices. They were here, studying something. Back in the main chamber, Mike managed to activate one of the crystal records. It showed Vex scientists working frantically, then evacuating as something attacked their station. They were looking for something, Jack said, watching the recording. Something important enough to risk staying on this planet. Maria had wandered to the back of the chamber, where her scanner had detected a hidden passage. I think I found where they were going, she called. The team followed her through a narrow tunnel that sloped downward. After walking for 10 minutes, they emerged into a vast underground space, so large their lights couldn't reach the ceiling. By all that's holy, Kate whispered. Before them stood ruins of a massive structure, stone buildings with intricate carvings, metal spires that still gleamed despite their age, and at the center, a towering device that reached up into the darkness. This isn't Vex, Lisa said, her voice filled with awe. This is much older. This belonged to whoever was here before, the ones who made Terminus what it is. Jack examined markings on one of the buildings. These look like diagrams of Terminus's weather patterns and ecosystems. You think they created the planet's deadly features? Kate asked. Not created, Jack replied. Engineered, like a defense system. Mike approached the central device, studying it carefully without touching it. I think this controls the planet's weather. The Vex must have been trying to deactivate it. But they couldn't, Lisa realized. Whatever's down here, it was protected by the very dangers they were trying to escape. As they stood in the massive underground city, the truth became clear. Terminus wasn't naturally deadly. It had been made that way on purpose. And now humans, with their unique evolutionary history of surviving on a dangerous world, might succeed where the Vex had failed. We need to understand this place, Lisa decided, her eyes bright with discovery. Whatever secrets it holds, they were meant to be found by someone who could survive Terminus long enough to reach them. The team spent 3 days studying the underground city. Mike worked to understand the central control device, while the others explored the ruins. They found more crystal records showing glimpses of the ancient civilization that had built this place. I think I've figured it out, Mike announced on the morning of the 4th day. This central device does control the planet's weather systems, and more. It manages the entire ecosystem. Can we activate it? Lisa asked. Mike nodded slowly. I believe so. But there's a problem. The controls are protected by what I can only describe as a test. He showed them a crystal record that displayed a series of chambers leading to the control room. Each chamber contained different challenges: extreme heat, cold, radiation, toxic gas, and mechanical traps. It's a gauntlet, Kate said, designed to test whoever wants to control the planet. The Vex would never have made it through, Jack added. Their bodies couldn't handle these conditions. Lisa studied the images carefully. But we might. These conditions are extreme, but they all have equivalents on Earth. Their communication device beeped. It was the Vex observer ship, which had remained in orbit. We have detected unusual energy readings from your location, the Vex said, his large eyes blinking rapidly. Our records indicate dangerous technology in that area. You must evacuate immediately. Lisa explained what they had found. The Vex's reaction was immediate and strong. You cannot attempt to activate that system. It is suicide. We lost an entire team trying to access that chamber. We're going to try anyway, Lisa replied calmly. We believe we can succeed where you failed. The Vex offered immediate evacuation, but Lisa refused. After the transmission ended, she turned to her team. No one has to do this. It's voluntary. They all stepped forward without hesitation. Let's prepare, Kate said simply. They spent the next day planning their approach. Each challenge would require different skills and equipment. The first chamber has rapid temperature changes, Mike explained. From freezing to burning in minutes. Like desert conditions on Earth, Maria noted. We'll need thermal suits. The second chamber has radiation pulses, Mike continued. Jack nodded. Similar to what astronauts face, just more intense. Our suits can be modified for protection. They continued planning for each chamber. When they were ready, they stood before the entrance to the gauntlet. Remember, we work as a team, Lisa said. That's another advantage we have. The Vex tried to solve each challenge with technology. We'll use technology and teamwork. The first chamber was exactly as described. A long corridor where the temperature shifted wildly. Even with their suits, they felt the painful cold and burning heat. Maria led the way, using her knowledge of extreme environments to find the safest path. The second chamber filled with radiation bursts. Jack, who had studied radiation effects on biology, guided them through the safe zones between pulses. The third chamber released toxic gases that changed color and composition randomly. Mike had built special filters for their masks, allowing them to breathe safely as they moved forward. The fourth chamber contained mechanical traps, floors that collapsed, walls that closed in, ceilings that dropped spikes. Kate's security training helped her spot the triggers and disarm them. Throughout the gauntlet, Lisa realized something important. The challenges weren't just about survival. They tested problem-solving, cooperation, and adaptation. These were all traits that humans had developed through their evolution as social beings on a dangerous planet. In the final chamber, they faced all the challenges combined. Working together, they reached the central platform where a simple hand-shaped depression waited in a control panel. This is it, Lisa said, breathing hard from the effort. The final test. She placed her hand in the depression. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the entire chamber lit up with a soft blue light. A humming sound filled the air as ancient machinery came to life. A voice spoke, not in any language they knew, but somehow they understood. Challenge completed. Access granted. The door to the control room slid open, revealing the heart of Terminus's weather control system. They had passed the test that the Vex could never complete. Lisa looked at her team, their faces tired but triumphant. Humans don't just survive challenges, she said. We're built to overcome them. The control room was a perfect circle, with a crystal platform in the center. As the team stepped inside, lights came on around them, revealing walls covered with moving images of Terminus, its weather patterns, animal life, and plant systems. It's monitoring the entire planet, Jack whispered in awe. Mike approached the central platform. I think this is the main control system. He studied the symbols carved into its surface. Based on what we've learned from the other chambers, this should allow us to stabilize the weather. Lisa nodded. Do it. Mike carefully placed his hands on two glowing circles. The platform lit up with bright blue light. The images on the walls began to change, showing the storm systems breaking apart and settling into calmer patterns. They felt a deep rumble, then silence. On the screens, they watched as the toxic rain clouds that had been gathering dispersed. It worked, Maria said, checking her instruments. Weather patterns are stabilizing all across the planet. Just then, their communication device activated. The Vex observer appeared, looking confused. What have you done? Our sensors show the planetary weather system is changing dramatically. We've stabilized it, Lisa explained. The control system was operational all along. It just needed someone who could reach it. The Vex was silent for a moment. This is unexpected. We believe the system was destroyed. That's why the planet was so dangerous. It wasn't destroyed, Jack said. It was protected. Whoever built this place wanted to make sure only the right kind of species could access it. A new image appeared on the walls, showing a message that somehow translated itself into words they could understand. To those who have proven worthy, this world was designed as a testing ground. Its challenges were created to find species with the resilience, adaptability, and cooperation needed to inherit our legacy. You have succeeded where others failed. Terminus is now yours to steward. They built this entire planet as a test, Kate said in amazement, and the Vex could never have passed it, Lisa added. Their evolution on a peaceful world didn't prepare them for these challenges. 1 week later, the Vex ambassador himself landed on Terminus, the first Vex to set foot on the planet in 200 years. With the weather now stable, and the most dangerous predators contained by the control system, it was safe enough even for him. He met the team at their original base camp, looking around with a mixture of fear and wonder. You have achieved what we thought impossible, he said. Our people avoided challenges. Yours embraced them. We now see this was a weakness in our development. Lisa smiled. Different evolutionary paths, that's all. Your people developed incredible technology. Ours developed resilience. Perhaps together we can accomplish more than either could alone. The ambassador suggested. We have the means to travel between stars with ease. You have the ability to explore worlds we find too dangerous. A partnership, Lisa agreed. We'll be the explorers, you'll be the transporters. As they finalized their agreement, Lisa looked at the plans Mike had drawn up for the first human settlement on Terminus. With the control system active, the planet was still challenging, but no longer deadly. It would make a perfect training ground for human explorers preparing to face even more difficult worlds. We've already identified another planet we abandoned, the Vex ambassador mentioned. It's even more extreme than Terminus was. We called it the impossible world. The human team exchanged smiles. Where the Vex saw impossibility, humans saw opportunity. When can we leave? Lisa asked. The ambassador's large eyes blinked in surprise. You truly are remarkable creatures. Your greatest weakness, evolving on a dangerous world, has become your greatest strength. As the twin suns of Terminus set in the now calm sky, humans and Vex stood together, looking toward the stars. A new era of exploration had begun, combining alien technology with human determination. The deadliest worlds in the universe had met their match, not in superior weapons or advanced shields, but in the simple, stubborn resilience of a species that had always refused to run from danger. What the Vex had fled, humans would explore. What aliens feared, humanity would call home.